Have you ever stopped to think about this simple question, what do you really want? Most people never do. They drift through life hoping things will work out, waiting for luck, or depending on circumstances. But here's a truth so simple it's almost shocking. The universe can't give you what you haven't asked for. That's the secret behind the lesson how to get whatever you want. When Rohn said, if you're ready, here's the note, ask. He wasn't joking. That one word carries an entire philosophy inside it. Ask, that's it. End of notes. But also the beginning of everything. Because asking isn't just about saying words out loud. It's about defining your direction. It's about deciding what you want your life to become and having the courage to speak it into existence. See, there's an art to asking. It's not begging, it's not wishing, it's clarity, it's focus, it's faith in motion. If there's one art worth mastering in life, that's it, the art of asking. The power hidden in a simple question asking begins with a question, what do you want? It sounds simple, yet very few people can answer it clearly. Ask most people what they want, and you'll hear vague answers like, I just want to be happy. I want to be successful. I want to do better. But better than what? Happy compared to when? Successful in what area? The mind responds to precision, not confusion. When you know what you want, your brain begins to filter reality, like radar, searching for ways to bring it to you. So, when Jim said, ask and you shall receive, he wasn't giving you a poetic line. He was giving you a working formula, a spiritual law that has never stopped operating. Ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and the door will be opened. Life moves in response to clarity, why most people never receive. And now you might be thinking, I've asked before and it didn't work. But here's the key, most people don't really ask. They hint, they hope, they wish. They drop suggestions to the universe like throwing pennies into a fountain. But asking isn't passive, it's deliberate. When you ask clearly, you start aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions with your goal. It's as if the invisible machinery of your mind starts to turn. That's why Jim said, asking starts a unique process, mental and emotional. I don't even know how it works. I just know that it works. It's like pressing a button and watching everything in your life begin to rearrange itself. New opportunities appear. New people come into your life. Ideas show up when you least expect them. You don't need to understand how it happens. You only need to trust that it does. There are two kinds of people in the world. One, those who study the roots. Two, those who pick the fruit. The first group spends their lives analyzing why things don't work, overthinking and doubting. The second group just uses the formula. You don't need to understand electricity to turn on the light. You just need to flip the switch. Asking is that switch. It turns on the light in your life. So start there with asking, because asking is the beginning of receiving. That's where the process begins. Let's move to the second key principle. Receiving is automatic. Now that might sound strange at first. You might say, what do you mean receiving is automatic? If that's true, then why am I not getting what I want? Good question. If receiving is automatic, and it truly is, then receiving isn't the problem. The problem is the failure to ask. See, the world is built to respond. Nature itself is designed to give. You plant a seed, it grows. You smile at someone, you get one back. You ask a sincere question, you receive an answer. Receiving isn't something you have to chase, it's something you have to allow. But it starts with clarity. It starts with asking. The hidden block. Failure to ask. Let me tell you about a man Jim once described. The good worker, poor asker. This guy wakes up early every morning. He works hard. He's dependable, honest, and responsible. But when you ask him what he really wants in life, he shrugs and says, well, just to get by. And that's exactly what he gets. Just enough to get by. See, the universe can't deliver what you haven't defined. You can't order a meal without choosing from the menu, and yet most people spend years in the restaurant of life saying, oh, just bring me something. You have to be specific. You have to write it down. You have to ask. Because being a good worker is admirable, but it's not enough. If you want to move from survival to success, you must become a good asker. Receiving is a law. Here's something most people overlook. The law of receiving works like gravity. It's not emotional, it's automatic. You don't have to remind gravity to keep you on the ground. It's always working. In the same way, when you begin to ask clearly, life begins to respond automatically. Think about it. When you ask yourself powerful questions, your mind automatically searches for answers. When you set clear goals, your subconscious begins to filter reality, looking for patterns, people, and opportunities that align with your vision. That's not magic. That's how your brain is designed. It's a built-in success mechanism. So, receiving isn't luck. It's the natural result of asking and aligning. The ocean analogy, how big is your bucket? Now, here's the third point, and it's a powerful one. There's plenty. Success isn't in short supply. It's not ration. You didn't show up at the window and find out the supply had run out. The world is full of abundance, full of opportunity, creativity, wealth, and wisdom. But here's the real problem. Most people go to the ocean with a teaspoon. Picture that for a moment. There's an ocean in front of you, endless, vast, overflowing, and you show up with a tiny teaspoon. That's what happens when we think small, when we dream small, when we doubt ourselves. It's not that the ocean ran dry. It's that we brought the wrong container. Now imagine instead walking up to that same ocean with a bucket, or better yet, a barrel. You wouldn't just collect more. You'd carry yourself differently. You'd expect more. That's the real power of mindset. The size of your belief determines the size of your reward. So, if life is like an ocean, don't bring a teaspoon. Trade it for something worthy of the supply. Expanding your asking capacity. Here's a simple question. When was the last time you asked for something big? Not something safe or easy, but something that made you a little nervous just to say out loud, because that's where growth happens, outside the comfort zone. When you ask big, your mind expands to match it. When you ask small, your life shrinks to fit. So go to the ocean with a bucket. Go with belief. Go expecting. And when you do, something changes inside you. You start to think differently. You start to talk differently. You start to attract differently. That's not luck. That's alignment. That's the power of asking, meeting the abundance of the universe. Now that we understand the importance of asking, let's take it a step further. It's not just about asking, it's about how you ask. Rohn used to say, ask with intelligence and ask with faith. That sounds simple, but hidden in those two lines are the foundations of all achievement. 1. Ask with intelligence. What does it mean to ask with intelligence? It means you've done your homework. You've studied your goals. You've taken the time to understand what you truly want. Not what's trendy, not what someone else told you to want, but what you want from life. When you ask with intelligence, your request is backed by understanding. You know why you're asking, you know what it will take, and you're ready to do your part. For example, imagine two people applying for the same opportunity. The first says, I just need a break. I hope someone gives me a chance. The second says, I've studied your business. I know where I can add value. Here's my plan. Who do you think gets the opportunity? The second person. Not because they're luckier, but because they asked intelligently. When you ask with clarity and preparation, you make it easier for others and for life itself to say yes. The power of clarity, intelligence, and asking comes down to clarity. If your request is vague, your results will be vague. You can't say, I want to be successful, and expect the universe to know what you mean. Successful how? Successful where? Successful by when? Instead, an intelligent ask sounds like this. I want to earn $10,000 a month by helping people grow their small businesses. Or, I want to master public speaking so I can inspire and teach others by the end of next year. That kind of clarity does something powerful. It activates your focus. Your brain begins to filter out distractions, opportunities that were invisible before suddenly start appearing. That's not coincidence. That's your clarity at work. 2. Ask with faith now. Intelligence alone isn't enough. If you only ask with your mind, you'll limit yourself to what seems possible. But when you ask with faith, you open yourself to what seems impossible. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's believing before you see it. It's trusting the process before the results show up. Rohn used to say, you can't have faith and doubt at the same time. One cancels the other. Faith means asking even when the odds look small. It means knocking on doors that don't seem open yet. It means expecting that your effort will bear fruit, even if you don't know when or how. The farmer's faith. Think of the farmer who plants seeds in the ground. He doesn't stand over the soil shouting, "Where's my crop?" No, he plants, waters, and waits. He knows the seasons. He knows the process. That's what faith looks like. Intelligent effort followed by patient trust. Faith doesn't mean sitting around hoping. Faith means acting with confidence that your actions matter. When you plant your goals with faith, life begins to move in your favor. People show up. Ideas surface. Opportunities align. And when they do, you'll realize they were there all along. You just couldn't see them until you believed they were possible. The silent power of expectation. Here's the secret. Faith is invisible, but powerful. People can sense when you carry it. They can feel it in your voice, your posture, your words. Someone who believes in what they're doing walks differently. They talk with quiet confidence. They radiate certainty. And that draws people in. Faith is magnetic. When you believe in your vision, others begin to believe too. That's why Jim used to say, faith is not a lazy emotion, it's a disciplined confidence. The faith says, I may not have all the answers, but I have enough to begin. Faith says, I've done my part, now I trust the process. And when you live that way, Life rewards you for your courage. 3. The balance between intelligence and faith. Here's where most people go wrong. They live in one extreme or the other. Some rely too much on logic, always analyzing, planning, and calculating, but never trusting. Others rely only on faith, always wishing, hoping, dreaming, but never preparing. The real power lies in balance. Ask with intelligence, that's your plan. Ask with faith, that's your belief. Put them together, and you create momentum. Intelligence gives you structure. Faith gives you energy. Intelligence shows you what to do. Faith gives you the courage to do it. That's how great things are built, not by luck, but by alignment. Reflection point, take a moment and ask yourself, have I been asking intelligently, or have I just been wishing? Do I truly believe I can have what I'm asking for, or am I doubting quietly inside? Because the answers to those two questions determine how far you'll go. Remember, asking is an art. The more specific, prepared, and believing you are, the more certain your results become. You've learned how to ask with intelligence and ask with faith. But there's one more ingredient that separates wishers from winners: persistence. One, the discipline of persistence once you've asked. Life begins to test how serious you are. Opportunities rarely fall into your lap on the first try. The universe has a quiet rule: prove that you mean it. Persistence isn't about endless effort. It's about steady faith in motion. It's showing up one more time after most people have quit. It's writing the email again, making the call again, trying the door again, with the same calm confidence as the first day. Jim Rohn used to say, the same wind blows on us all. The difference is the set of the sail. That's persistence. Not fighting the storm, but adjusting your sail until it carries you forward. Each time you persist, you tell life, I'm still here, I still want this. And life eventually listens. To the ocean of opportunity, Jim said it beautifully. Success isn't in short supply. It's like an ocean, the problem. Most people come to the ocean with a teaspoon. Think about that image for a moment. A vast ocean of opportunity, and someone bends down with a tiny spoon, takes one drop, and walks away saying, well, I guess that's all there is. No. It's not that opportunity is small, it's that their expectation is. Trade your teaspoon for a bucket. Better yet, bring a barrel. When you expand your vision, life meets you at that level. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you're prepared for. 3. The law of capacity. If you bring a small container to the ocean, you limit what you can receive. That's not life's fault. That's capacity. So here's the real question: how big is your container? How ready are you to handle what you're asking for? If you ask for abundance but live in scarcity, life hesitates, not out of cruelty, but wisdom. Because giving you more when you can't yet manage it could destroy you. That's why personal growth matters. Every time you grow in skill, patience, faith, your container expands and the ocean begins to fill it. So instead of begging for more, become capable of more. That's the quiet secret successful people know. 4. Stay ready. Opportunity often knocks softly and only once. The people who catch it aren't the lucky ones, they're the ready ones. Stay ready by learning daily. Stay ready by keeping your attitude sharp. Stay ready by living as if the door could open today. Jim said, when opportunity comes, it's too late to prepare. So prepare now. Study when others sleep, plan when others procrastinate. Build your mindset before the moment arrives, because when it does, you won't need luck. You'll simply step forward. 5. Ask again. Sometimes your first ask won't work. Sometimes your second won't either. That's okay. The principle doesn't say ask once and you shall receive. Ends and keep asking. Every no sharpens your approach. Every delay strengthens your character. And every setback teaches you something about timing. Faith doesn't remove effort, it strengthens it. So when life seems quiet, ask again. But wiser this time, stronger this time, clearer this time. Persistence isn't stubbornness, it's intelligent repetition. You learn, you adapt, and you ask again until something moves. Reflection, pause, and think. Have I been coming to the ocean with a teaspoon? Do I believe there's plenty, or do I secretly think the supply is running out? Am I asking once and quitting, or am I refining my ask until it lands? Your future depends on how you answer those questions. 6. Make plans like an adult. Believe like a child. Jim's closing wisdom ties it all together. Make plans like an adult, but believe in them like a child. That line is gold. An adult plans with discipline, details, and deadlines. A child believes without fear, without overthinking. Combine the two and you become unstoppable. The adult builds the bridge. The child believes it can cross the river. That's the formula for miracles. Not fantasy, but faith in motion. So here's the truth about getting whatever you want. 1. Ask clearly. Know what you want and write it down. 2. Ask with intelligence. Define it, describe it, and prepare for it. 3. Ask with faith. Trust that life listens when your intention is pure. 4. Persist. Don't stop at the first obstacle. Refine, repeat, rise. 5. Expand your container. Grow into the person capable of receiving what you seek. If you live by that formula, intelligence, faith, persistence, and growth, you won't have to chase success. It will find you. Because the world truly does admire the doers. My friend, are simply askers who never stopped asking. So, what do you want? Ask. Then get ready to receive.